Hey, welcome to Diversity in Cinema Academy. I'm Theta Catalan, and this is the place to be if you're an indie filmmaker, video creator, or screenwriter. So this month, I am dropping 24 filmmaking tips till Christmas. So in this video, I am going to be talking about wardrobe. Now, the head of the wardrobe department is the costume designer. Now, a lot of times on an indie film, especially an ultra low budget film, you may not necessarily need a costume designer, because costume designers are people who are, they making sketches, creating patterns, they stitching it up and all that kind of stuff. And maybe just on your ultra low budget film, you may just need somebody to be a wardrobe supervisor, because a lot of times on ultra low budget films, the talent is the one who actually bring the clothes, and that is what the wardrobe supervisor would do, is like coordinate with the talent and say,
hey, these are the looks that we are going for. Do you have any of these?
And they would send them like their mood board, like,
hey, this is your character and these are the type of looks that we're looking for.
And they create this the same as any of the other department heads that I have mentioned so far in this series. So if you haven't been with me the whole series, go ahead and check out the rest of those videos. But basically, you're going to create a mood board based off the vision that the production designer and the director came up with, right? So say for instance, if the production designer and the director decided that, like say for instance, if your character was like super classy and loved gold and all the finer things in life and stuff, then maybe you're going to go with the looks like, maybe something like this, a gold sweater, so if she's more of a conservative person, she has a sweater, they have some sparkles on it. I don't know if you can see that, so maybe they'll come up with something like that, and then if she's kind of a little more pushing it on the edge and, she's showing her cleavage. I don't know if you can see that, but oops. Like that shirt didn't want to participate, but it has a little cleavage or whatever, it's a little see-through, then maybe your character would go with like this, something like this. But for instance, say for instance, if your character is more, bubbly and lively and they went with more of the traditional colors, then maybe they want, a shirt like this. So if it's a comedy and they're being funny or something like that, then maybe they would want to go with a shirt like this. Or if they wanted to be a little bit more sexy and sophisticated and have, like some of this lace, then maybe they go with something like this. But they're still with the bright colors. So that is just something to think about in the wardrobe department, is pulling together looks that make sense for your character. Another thing that you want to think about when you are creating these looks for your characters is if you're asking talent to bring in their own wardrobe, but say for instance, they may have stunts and something that may damage their clothes like blood or tears and all that, then you, the producer, the production company, has to provide that for those characters. So just keep that in mind when you're creating your budgets and you have, if you're working on a micro ultra low budget film or, a low budget film and it's just not in your budget, then you need to think about like, oh, I may have to completely rely on the talent to bring in clothes, and if you can't afford to damage their clothes, then you need to think of a film idea where you're not really up in there damaging people's stuff, right? Okay, so those are my few little tips that I have on the wardrobe department. If you want to learn more about the wardrobe department and the costume designer and what they do, you can always go to Diversity in Cinema Academy's website and check out the profile section for the costume designer. Also, if you've been following me so far in this series and I mentioned the hairstylist, the director, the production designer, and so many more positions, then you can also check out their job profile as well. Okay, so be sure to check in tomorrow because I'm going to be going over the cinematography department and that's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure to tune back in tomorrow. Hey, thanks for tuning in to my 24 filmmaking tips till Christmas. If you are enjoying this series, be sure to visit Diversity and Cinema Academy's website where they have a ton of resources there. If you're interested in leveling up your film business, you can check out my online course,